Coach, I liked your practice tonight. Very spirited. I know you're doing a lot of teaching. Talk about that side of it still this early in the season that you got to really help guys out quite a bit.
We do. Unfortunately, it's a new system for all of them. We're still learning as coaches. They're still learning as players. We want to be playing our best football at the end of the year, and it's going to take us probably till the end of the year to be playing our best football. So there's still a lot of teaching going on. We're a no-huddle offense offensively, but there's times we need to slow it down and teach still.
You know, they do seem to be catching it pretty well, though, and that's tough when players you think that might be seniors have been in a different system every year.
Yeah, for sure. These guys have gone through 3 coaches. I'm now the 3rd coach in 3 years. So, they've been receptive for the most part. We're still getting a lot of them to buy into what we're trying to do, and I think they're seeing some of the fruits of their work as we move along.
I like the work ethic and the spirit that you have out there because I think you kind of transcend that as well. You're positive, and these guys pick up on that.
Well, I always try to be positive. There's times that I lose my cool a little bit, but, our kids, we have to give them credit. They're out here ready for practice. They're practicing hard. They want to represent the school right, and they want to represent the community right, and we want them to do that. So I think they're doing a good job and working towards those goals of playing their best football at the end of the year and working to get better daily. That's what we're trying to do.
You mentioned the spread offense and such. Talk a little bit about that and how Alec has kind of picked that up as well.
Well, Alec's one of our smarter kids and has picked things up really quick, and he gets guys lined up correctly. He's like another coach on the field. He has some athleticism as well. He can run the ball, he can throw the ball, and most importantly, he understands what we're trying to get done. If you have that kind of guy at quarterback, that's what you want.
What did you see in the scrimmage? And you and I talked about this after the scrimmage, and you had a chance to go back and look at the film and such. What did you learn from the film that you didn't see or did see on the actual game itself?
Well, as we told our kids, we overall, first and foremost, we've got to be more physical. We're not a very physical football team right now. We're not blocking physically, and we're not tackling physically. There was a lot of catching on defense. There was a lot of catching on offense. We want to be offensive hitters, and defensively, we want to strike guys, get off blocks. But more importantly, defensively, we had a lot of guys hitting their guy. If I'm a defensive lineman, hitting their guy and popping up and looking around for the ball. You've got to first defeat your block. Don't worry about what's going on in the backfield. We had a lot of our linebackers and what we call our devils, the strong safeties. They were not reading their keys correctly, and hopefully, we practiced tonight without a football on offense because we just wanted them going to their keys. We didn't care who had the football, so our offense actually practiced without a football tonight.
You have some offensive linemen. You have a little bit of size there. Maybe not as much as last year, but you have some size. Talk about how their cohesiveness has been so far with some new faces in there.
Well, I think Coach Fisher and Coach Dunkel are doing a great job bringing those kids along. It's not easy going into their 3rd offense, and we've tweaked some things compared to what they did last year. But they're catching on. We have Blaine Pierce at center, and he's doing a great job of communicating to our guards. Jacob Jones and Clayton Raper do a good job of communicating to the guards, so it's kind of an inside out and outside in, and they're helping each other. And as we said, as long as one guy knows what they're doing and they can communicate it down the line, we've got a chance to be successful.
Can you run the football the way you want to? I know Wyatt Bird has been a starter last year, not terribly big or such, but very quick. Can you run the football the way you want to?
Well, we'll find out tomorrow, Friday night, I should say. But we feel like we need to run the football. We need to run some zone. We need to run some power. We need to run some counter and some jet. If we do those 4 things, it'll set up our passing game. And I don't think we did that well enough in our scrimmage. So, we're going to simplify some things, not just at the varsity level, but all the way down to the middle school level. We're trying to simplify things, get rid of some stuff that maybe we'd like to use but maybe our kids aren't ready for right now, and just try and get really good at zone, get really good at jet and counter tray, and then go from there.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I was going to ask you the next thing about simplifying and then trying to make that next step. Do you know when you want to do that, or are you just going to kind of play it by ear?
Well, I think in terms of simplifying, we threw a lot of stuff at our kids. It's a whole kind of process for us. We threw a whole lot of them at them this summer. We started practice and threw a whole lot more at them, and now we're going to start paring it down to where we know exactly what we're doing. Once we get that down, then we'll add in a little bit more. But our kids are catching on, and as coaches, you want to do more. You want to do more, but really less is more.
Let's talk about Friday night. I guess it's kind of hard to know this early. Coach Kelly does an excellent job down there at Connersville trying to get their program going. What do you see in the Spartans?
Well, I think from their scrimmage, the first thing I noticed was their kids play hard, and that's a tribute to their coach. If your kids are playing hard, you got a chance to be successful. And good coaches get all their kids to play hard, and I think they play hard. They're not overly big. They run to the football defensively. Their linebackers play downhill. They've got a good nose guard. Offensively, they want to run the football first and foremost and to set up a little bit of play action. We're not exactly sure what we'll get offensively. They showed some different things to us last year compared to what they did in the spring. It wouldn't surprise me that they do some more things that they did last year after seeing what Delta ran against us. And so we're preparing for both, but we know first and foremost we got to stop the run.
Yeah, I was going to say, boy, and they lost a couple of pretty good running backs from last year too.
They did, and they've still got some good running backs, and what they do offensively, they'll run some one back, two back, some trap. They'll also run some what I'd call midline and outside veer. They do a really good job of that.
Hey, before I let you go, and it's always nice to have when a quarterback is the coach's son. Kid's probably pretty smart, right?
He is, and he's a lefty and runs the ball well, throws it well, and he's tall so he can see over the line. And I'm sure they do a lot of stuff because he knows what he's doing.